Hello again and welcome to another fabulous episode of European Autocraft Studios. We have no AC today, so the door's open. We can't hang our wiring diagrams. Plus, I think you're kind of getting bored of that right now. So we're going to get right down into it. I want to show you where the wiring diagram and show you how the wires are laid out in the car. So we laid out the wiring harness. We cut out all the things that don't belong in there from the aftermarket people. They tap into the radio. That was mostly the radio stuff, and as you saw before, they cut out the original antenna signal booster and put in another one. We gutted all that stuff. We have some wires that are broken, cut, so we're gonna have a lot of work to do on this harness. So I kind of want to show you how it's laid out in the car. I'm sure you've seen these connectors in the car, your car places. Now you get to see it without the car. So come take a look here at the central electric panel. Remember, we just took this apart. All the connectors here plug right into the bottom. All labeled. They all go right where they need to without any problem. So there's our two main power leads coming in, 30 power. Our little added on sockets that go in there for probably accessories or whatever, why they do that. Well, let's move forward. This here is the firewall line, and this is the firewall line back here. This is where the panel is under the hood that goes into the fuse panel area. Our connector on the side there for some of the engine temperature sensors and whatnot. We come forward to brake fluid level. Not sure what that one is, but up front we have the horns. This is the looks like the brake pad sensor for the left front. We have headlights. It's our headlight connector, fog light, turn signal. Fans. This is the thermal switch for the fan. Plugs into the radiator. Sit out miscellaneous lighting stuff. These are our cooling fans. It's all the way across the front to the right side. Again with these are fog light, turn signal, and I left a marker light connected so you can see it. This is how they're inside underneath with a boot, little water drain, and these just have single terminals. I don't know why they didn't go with a nice fancy connector, but there's our side marker lights, and all four have that, front and rear. Once again, with our headlight wiring, I know that's the right side because there's no stripes. Headlight motor, ignition coil, and let's see, windshield washer pump. That's windshield washer pump there. And don't forget about our grounds. These were on the longitudinals in the front. Right side, and here's the left side. Kind of forgot to tell you that. Coming back, this is the back of the alternator with the D plus wire and the main battery cable. Remember this connector, where I thought that went to the starter, to the alternator, but I didn't. That's the start wire. If you power that, it will energize the starter. That's my wire for the alternator. Cruise control, which this car does not have. That's why it has a blanket cap on it. This is the harness that came across the front of the firewall. All these battery leads are power miscellaneous things. Two of them I know go to the fuse panel. These connect right on the battery cable through the battery compartment area, which is severely rotted on this one. Power lead goes right down to the back of the starter. Let's see. We also have the engine harness has a lead that goes down to that. This is the negative side, connects to the body ground, and then this goes right down on top of your bell housing. And that grounds the engine directly, and this grounds the body directly. Very efficient. What else do we have here? So now we have our firewall is here. This is inside the car.
You remember this? Went over the steering column where I had to masterfully drill out that bolt. That was exciting, to take the steering column down so we could remove this. Let's see, this poked out through the firewall. Remember our blower motor resistors here, wiper motor connector. This is the temp sensor that goes on to the outside air. This is the temp sensor for the outside air being drawn into the AC plenum. What else we have here? Miscellaneous little things. While we're here, under the dash on the left side, remember our two big grounds up by the fuse relay panel? I think those are 3 and 4, I don't remember. Another ground off to the side here where our connectors were that we took off. These are there. I know one of the door harness connects to one of these, and then there's another one that connects up in here and goes through the rest of the car. I know only one of these, I believe, is for the door. What else we have? This one comes off of this section of harness up, and this is for the dome light above the windshield, so between the sun visors. And this is the switch for the sunroof to tell the sunroof electrical system that switch is actually on or off. It's a little tab that pushes up when the sunroof tilts. This switch opens, and when the sunroof goes down, that little plastic tab pushes up to tell it that it's in its stop position. I say electrical system because there's no control unit for the sunroof. It's all done with relays. So there's no main control unit for the sunroof. What else we got in here? Well, this is interesting. Behind the steering column, steering column, you have the switches for the turn signals on the left, wipers on the right. And if you had cruise control, that would be here too. And you can see that would be for the cruise control, but it's taped off with foam because this car is not equipped. But the harness is there if you wanted to add cruise control. Sometimes, I always thought that the instrument cluster and all these things would come in one harness. But what's interesting is it doesn't. This is the one side of the instrument cluster, but on the other side of the harness are my other two. So they don't come in as one, they come in two separate sections, which is interesting, I thought. This is ignition switch. This is kind of mangled. We're going to fix all that up real nice. And this is the key in switch. The little, I call it the doinger. It makes the buzzer work. And when you pull the key out, it's a key warning. These are for the switches, I mentioned that. Headlight switch. That's for the back of the headlight switch. We have instrument lighting, dimmer, fog light switch, all kinds of good stuff. So that's the left side. This is the door lock control unit, and if it has the alarm, it also turns on the alarm. This is our plenum harness for the air conditioning. I could just separate this and leave this with the big air conditioning plenum box that we took out. I'll probably do that when I put it back together because I want to clean this and we'll get it all mounted before we put it in. Then we just have to connect it to the main harness. Piece of cake. More dashboard stuff. Looks like cigarette lighter, clock. What else we got here? This is the little light that goes up inside for the defroster. The defroster wheel that moves the vane inside. All right, moving on. Oh, center. This is just below the radio. We have all the switches. That comes in. Let's see, that'll go that way. This will come right down underneath the tunnel, behind the radio, basically, and come up underneath. So that goes in front of the shifter. Door lock switch and miscellaneous things like that. The sunroof switch. Hazard switch was up here somewhere. That's here. Hazard light switch, that's what that one was. Radio, all butchered, typical. We're probably going to add to this too for different amplifiers and things like that. We're going to make it really nice though. We're not going to use things like this. And instead of tapping into all of these power sources all around, we're going to use, most likely I'll make a box of MOSFETs, and that will trigger those, and they start, they don't click on and off, you don't get pops from them, and we can probably even ramp up the power in 500 milliseconds or so instead of having a relay click it on. And that'll neaten up the wiring and make the system a lot cleaner. And that'll be for our audio system. What else? Seats. Passenger seat was not electric, so that was bundled up in there. So if you have a power seat you want to put in, we could probably make it work. And this is the driver's seat. I think that's seat belts. And that's for the power seat on the driver's side, which was there. Coming up here, remember our blower resistors? Those two round blower resistors? That's the harness for those. Pretty crusty. We'll be cutting this back pretty far and putting new wire in there. These just got cooked. I don't know why yet. So we'll be diagnosing that with this on the bench before we put it back in the car. Coating connector. Nothing else. Something else. Don't know what those are for. But it'll all come back when we're there. Antenna signal booster that was cut out. We're going to put the original one back in. They work so good. We'll put one back in. Maybe we'll make this one work again. I don't know. This is a right side connectors. Behind the glove box area, you can see the bracket's still there, but rotted away. So if we get a piece of a car to weld in there, hopefully we'll have all the brackets and parts for it. Again, this is one for the driver's door, and the other one is for, I'll look into that. The other ones are for the other connectors. All right, this speaker wire, right rear speaker. That went down along the sill and then up into the quarter panel section in the rear seat. We have parking brake terminal along the driver's sill. That goes to the park brake. Put the warning light on. Moving on, we have, what else we have here? Okay, so this is for the left speaker, and we have something else in there. We're going to look into that a little more. Anyways, behind the car, in the back of the car, not behind the car, we have a harness that goes through the floor. Remember our speedometer. This is for the speedometer sensor that's screwed down into the transmission. Remember to unscrew that. Take it out with the connector, and then try to work it out that way. Do not try to pull this off; it'll break. So that's the speedo. Again, this goes under the car this way. This is our left rear brake sensors, brake pad wear sensor. Fuel stuff. We have sending unit, fuel pump, and again, and our brake pad warning. This also goes underneath the car. Brake pad warning. And further back, we covered that. Sunroof. This connector is sunroof. Another ground bundle in the back. Left side taillight assembly. Right side taillight assembly, and rear lid release motor. Nice and corroded. That's pretty much it. That's a few things I forget because there's so much of it. But as we restore this harness, we'll show you everything as we restore it, and it'll all come back to life quite nicely. I'd rather do that than get another harness because we don't know what somebody else has done to their car. I'd have to get one from a car that was really untouched, and I think it's best just to work with what we have. But speaking of wiring too, one of our viewers, Lindsay, she has an 85.5 944 and has some electrical issues. She said the hazards don't work, and neither do the turn signals, and also the parking lights don't work, but the headlights do. Well, that's interesting. I'm looking into that. I'm trying to diagnose this car without the car being here. But the interesting thing is that if the hazards don't work and the turn signals don't work, that's two separate power sources. One is 15, as you know, for your key on, your turn signals have to work. In the off position, you still have 30 power at the switch. So when you turn the switch for the hazard lights, those lights come on. But both power sources go to that hazard switch. So it could be a bad hazard switch, but we're going to find out. Hopefully we'll get the car here too and take a look at it. Diagnosing over the internet is not that easy. So that's it for the wiring. I won't bore you anymore with this. We're going to get on the car for a little while and take some more stuff off. Can't wait to take more stuff apart. So we're going to go over there and do that right now. All right, we're back at the car. I'm going to start by taking the wiper motor out, and then we'll take the clutch master out and go around, pick off little things here and there. This is getting really close. Next week, I hope to get the glass out next week. We'll video that. I'm not going to cut it out because we want to try to save the glass, but we do have a little issue delaminating on the right side there where the antenna wire goes through. So all in all, if the windshield gets broken, we're going to maybe replace it. We'll see what the owner wants to do. If we can get the original glass with the antenna in it, we'll do that. We'll see. So let's take a look. Wiper motor, 22 millimeter. I've always had good luck taking these off without a ratchet. They're never really that tight. Sometimes, but not too bad there. There's a rubber bushing underneath that. I'm not going to be able to get this washer off until we rock it a little bit. It's a nice self-contained little unit all on one bracket. But again, that'll be disassembled and greased and lubricated. There we are. Well, that's easy. Probably could have read the service manual on that one. Okay. That's it. Pretty simple. If you're building a hot rod, you want a wiper motor assembly, boom, right there. Simple. Never fails, these things. Amazing. All right, rubbers. As you can see, this panel that was all broken, we broke it some more. It's stuck to the windshield rubber and goes down through the wiper motors. Keeps everything dry, I guess. Next thing, you'll have to come over here so we can see down inside. I'm just going to disconnect this from the pedal right here through the fuse relay panel hole access here. There's a cover. There's this plastic cover here that I think it's there to protect the wiring from the moving clutch pedal. These are just a little 9mm Porsche. Why are these 9mm and not 10? I'll never know. But a lot of them are 9mm. Then there's some underneath the car that are 10. Simple, that comes off. And there's our linkage. I hope we can save these molded foam pieces. I don't know. They're so nice, everything's molded around. But let's see what we can save. Ooh, there's a rusty mess. Oh, there's a bushing in there. I'll take that off with the pedal. Pretty simple. A little more difficult to do with the brake booster in place, fuse relay panel in place. But that's why sometimes you just leave it till the next parts come off. Hopefully we'll remember to put this on before we put the booster on. Not that one in particular, but a new one. All right, now how does this come apart? It gets bolted from the other side. Pivot. We're going to take the whole pivot pin assembly for the whole pivot assembly for the brake and the clutch pedals. We have an over center spring here. That'll have to come off. All right, now we have to get inside the car. Well, here we are back inside. We're going to remove the brake pedal first. Then we're going to try to get the accelerator pedal off. Now, most people doing restorations don't go to this length to get all this off. But since we're going so far with this car, I want to get all the insulation off. The whole right side of the car, as you can see, is just destroyed with rust. I want to probably repaint in here, repaint everything. So everything will go back together nice and fresh and clean, along with all this brand new stuff over here. Who knows what color car that's going to be coming from, unless we just rebuild what we have with metal, sheet metal, but I don't know. We'll talk to the body guy about that. But that's why we're taking everything out. We're going to just make it just a bare shell. Also, we mentioned earlier, yeah, both plugs are for the door. Not all the terminals are used, but I don't know what I was thinking. But both of these go to the door. So each side has its own door connector like we showed you. A little confusion on my part, but par for the course. All right, let's see what we can do. First, we have to take the spring off. If I can get that. We're just going to grab it with some needle nose and give it a twist. There it is. Okay. One crusty old spring. Looks like I can just pop this connector off. Oh, that's easy. Look at that. All right. Yeah, Mr. Momo, you're going to have to go. I like original. Now the accelerator pedal, I believe, we can pull the C-clips off, move it to the side, pivot it down, and then take it out the other side. I don't know. I've never had to take one off before, and I did not look at the workshop manual. So let's see what happens. If I go down, you're going down with me. Right where I planned it. Actually, I planned it to fall here. Now we have a spring there too. Accelerator pedal. Ah, yes. Accelerator cable. Bushings. This is just a rubber, little rubber grommet type. All right, be that way. Okay, that was a lucky guess. I really didn't know it was going to come out that way, but I'm glad it did. We got a win today. I'll put that on later. All right. We can restore that too, even though you'll never see it. What's next? Clutch pedal. Accelerator pedal from the floor. Ooh, spare parts. Oh, here's something I found on the floor. That's what inside your fuse looks like. Somehow the plastic got broken and it came out. Interesting. More fun facts. All right, now, as I mentioned, the clutch pedal has an over-center spring. That helps you step on the clutch. Makes it a little more smooth. So I have to remove that first. Again, it's just another clip. I guess I can take the clip off like this. Seems to have the least amount of tension all the way extended. It also helps the pedal stay up. If you can see, if you can come over this side and you can see how it works, how the spring goes over center and then pushes again. So as the lever comes up, it's now pushing up, but the lever is opposite the pivot, so it's making it stay in this position. All right, so it has the least amount of tension on it, on the spring, but it's probably going to pop. There we go. No problem. And there it is. And it's adjustable. Excellent. I have so much hardware to sort. Ugh. There we are. There's our clutch pedal. Imagine getting stepped on every day. How many times a day? Terrible. Well, that's another part to restore. All right, what's left is the hood release cable. We have all the little ground bolts we put back in, our switch for the rear hatch. We're going to try to get these connector covers off in one piece for the where we took them off the harness, the main harness. Those screws here and there, with some more insulation. Not going to bore you with all of that. The brake light switch. I think that's it for now in here. You know, you don't see me take all that. I got to fight to get these little clips off, but accelerator pedal on the floor. That's no fun. So that's it for inside the car for today. We're going to go back out and try to take some more stuff off outside. All right, we're just going to do a couple little things in here and probably call it a day. Remember those harnesses I spoke about before? Well, this is one of them. I just kind of found that while I was working in here. Connects to the 3-pin connector and then converts it to the spade connector for the headlights. Just that little jumper that we spoke of. But don't need to do that now. All right. This is the vacuum reservoir. Just a it just maintains the vacuum in the system for any vacuum servos. And just connects in the main system. This pretty much keeps the vacuum balanced under acceleration. So you always maintain a steady vacuum source. Connects to a lot of little things under the hood. Don't ever test it by pressurizing it. It will explode. They're made for a vacuum. Any kind of pressure, it just blows the plastic apart, so don't mess with it. All right, we'll go around the front, take a couple things off the horns, and we got an air tube up front, I think. A lot of crap under here. All right, we're just gonna do a couple little things to get this apart here. This is the air intake tube for the alternator. Broke its neck. Okay. All right. Simple. Horns. Let's see. We got one. And this is what holds the wiring connectors, the plugs for the lighting. 2 of those, pretty good shape. energy absorbers. Alright. I think that's about it for today. We're getting really close. Probably in the next week or so, maybe two, the car will be stripped. I have a call in to get the dolly here to get the mount points where we're going to put it. I'd like to get it high enough so the Jeff, the body guy, can actually get underneath it. I asked him if he wanted a rotisserie. We'll just put it on a rotisserie, but he didn't think that would help him, or he would use it. Just, I think I would use it, but we'll do it however he wants to do it. So that's that. I don't know if you notice how much brighter it is in here. We got our new LED lights up. We're constantly trying to improve. You saw my horrible floor while we did the wiring harness. I don't know if we're going to do anything with that. We're actually looking for a bigger place. Still trying to build that awesome shop with the body shop, fabrication, and our mechanical shop all built into one. So we're still working on that. We'll keep you posted on how that goes. Otherwise, that's it. Please keep subscribing. Everybody that's everybody new, please subscribe. We need them. I think we're at 561 as of today. So very happy that you guys are interested. Thanks for staying to the end, to the boring stuff. So yeah, keep the notifications coming, and keep hitting the like button. We like it. Thank you very much. See you next week.